Let me now go to Seth Johnson for the Crystal River build along of the coal shed. Seth, welcome. Thank you.
As a next step, we're going to cut apart the remainder of the strip wood for the kit. And I have a tool I like to use for this. If you have not looked at these Ultimation manual tools, you really should. They're fantastic, great quality. This one's a chopper, and it does exactly what it says on the label. And then I've also got a sander that works really well. But let's make short work of cutting the rest of these apart. You'll see that we've got the lines scribed in them, and some of them are cut separately, but we will cut apart the ones that are not. It's just a matter of lining things up and chopping away. I'll come back to you when it's done. While you weren't looking, here is what's happened. We have here the strip wood bits from last time. These are all painted. They are scale 2x8s. We also have our foundation pieces, which you saw us stain last time. And then in the meanwhile, I also trimmed out and painted all the 2x6s. These play a variety of roles in the kit, which you'll see as we assemble it today. Some are brown, some the yellow, or Jersey cream color rather. And the next step today will be to cut the parts from this sheet of 1/64 plywood. So we'll begin that process here. And then we'll bring in pieces that we stained earlier in basswood and other materials. And we'll begin to use the jig that we folded up the last time. Let's clear the work surface and start to trim these pieces out. All of that later. We have extracted the parts from the 1/64 ply. You'll see how much easier it is to get them out of the 1/32 basswood. In fact, they're falling out. These are the pieces we stained last time and then clamped between two pieces of wood to allow them to dry flat, and they have done so. And these will just sort of come out really easily. These can just be snapped down almost, and then the little carrier nubs can be taken care of after the fact. So we'll snap these out and then we'll clean them up. Let's repair our broken roof piece. We'll use a toothpick here, pick up a bit of wood glue, put it on the broken end, carefully. And then we will just set it here. Bring in the broken bit. Make sure they're well aligned. And we'll now leave that a bit to dry once we get everything straight. It's a good opportunity to show you that some of these braces have flat tops and some have these little keys that will be used to hold them in place, or hold the subroof in place on top of them as the building comes together. And speaking of that subroof, here it is. It's cut from laser board, as you'll recall. Let's remove that from the carrier as well. And then we have these pieces that go inside each of the doorways. I'll show you how that works later. For now, I'm going to leave them where they are. It'll be a little bit difficult to handle them once they're cut loose, and we don't want to have to worry about that. So I'll just break away the extra part here of the fret, carrier, and leave these as they are for the moment. And now we've cut all the pieces loose from their carriers, and we're ready to start assembly. Let's build up one of the sidewalls. This is where we used the jig that we built last time. You can see it's got a front, labeled so, and a back. The back has a recess, and it's into this recess that we're going to place the sidewall panels so that we can attach the sidewall studs to the outside. Now, these pieces aren't symmetrical. So the jig is built double-sided. One of these is going to go in with its top side this direction, and then the other one, as we build it, is going to go in with its top side that direction. And that means that you can see that these little notches here have little gaps in between. And when we place the sidewall in the right way, the notches in the wall panel will be aligned such that there is a stud notch on either side of the notches for the cross pieces, the roof supports. So let's set this one in as an example. I believe I've got this right. All right, we're going to set this in the back. Yeah, this will be right. And you can see when we turn it around to the front that there's really good alignment there. You've got a stud notch, a wall stud notch on either side of the roof support notches. Now we're going to tape this in so it doesn't go anywhere as we try to use the jig. A pre-cut piece of tape here. That should hold it in place just fine. And as we turn it over, we see that everything is squared up. This is going to hold the wall panel in place while we glue in the studs. You can see there are two stud notches on either side of the roof brace notches. And we're going to use just one side of them on each wall panel. So for this one, we're going to use the ones on the left of each of the notches. So let's grab a little bit of glue here. There's my glue holder, there it is. Oh, and I still have some glue on it. Fantastic, from fixing the piece that was broken a bit ago. So we're going to begin to install the studs on the side. So we'll put some glue down the side of the stud. Just a couple of places should be enough. You can see that one of the sides of this particular stud did not pick up the paint as well. Just a fancy way of saying that I missed painting it. But I'm going to take advantage of that and just use this as the side that goes up against the wall. No harm done. And we'll place it in this left notch of this pair. You'll notice that the studs extend some distance past the bottom of the panel here. This is an open space. I'll hold it up a little further so you can see it. That's by design. The way this will work is that the studs will extend down past the foundation timbers of the building. I get to a flat spot here so I can hold this in a minute. Give the wood glue a chance to start. And we'll move through the rest of these pretty quickly. I'm going to continue on down the side of the shed here using those left-hand notches. Okay, after allowing some drying time, we've got the wall panel, the side panel here, with the studs applied. You can see here that it's ready to come out. So we will just get it out of the jig, leaving the panel intact. That thin, whippy 1/64 material is now shored up with some nice studs, a little bit like it would be in real life, which is nice. Set that aside and we're ready for the next one. Recall that we use the notches on the left side of the studs, or the left side rather of the openings at the top of the wall for the roof braces. This time we're going to install the panel upside down using this bottom set of notches to mark where the studs in the roof will go. And further, we're going to use the notches on this side, on the right-hand side of the notches. So right there, we're going to use the right-hand ones this time around so that it lines up with the other panel when we're all done. You'll recall that these wall panels are not symmetrical when split left to right. And doing it this way means that we'll have alignment when we put the building together. The wall building process is going to be really similar for the back and front walls of the shed. The only difference will be when you do the front wall, you want to leave the stud out that would go over the door opening. It's going to be hard for people to get in and out with that in place. So I'll just do this part of it really quickly and off camera, and we'll come back when we have the front and back walls equipped with studs. Show you a little bit about what's going on with the door, the front wall with the door in it here. You can see that you will put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 studs. You will not put one in the notch that would run the stud over the door. It's time to start assembling the walls. So we've talked about a couple of times. On these side walls, you can see that the studs fit on one side of the notch for the roof beams, each notch for the roof beams. And that's also true on this side. It's just the other side because they're opposite of one another and you want them to line up when it's all said and done. The way these go together is that the side walls should be oriented such that the studs are toward the front wall. So here I have the back wall, and we are going to put this together like so, with those studs toward what will be the area where the front wall appears. So you can see we've got some mating surfaces there. That will be the back side of these tabs mating with the edge of this stud on the back wall. So I'm going to apply some glue to the back end of those boards that will apply to the studs, and we'll get these two together. All right, take the back wall here, I'm going to slide it in like so, and get those surfaces mated together. And we want these to be square. That's important for the building's finished quality. I'm going to use this 1, 2, 3 block here, 1 inch tall, 2 inches wide, 3 inches long. Handy little things for a lot of reasons. Corners are square, so we will set these together with the 1, 2, 3 block there to guide the squareness. We're going to go get some little clamps, make sure that these pieces stay together properly. You're probably saying, you didn't say that clamps were needed here. You're right, I didn't, sorry. Any wood assembly project though, count on needing clamps, whether or not the instructions say so. Use one on this side as a counterweight. Perfect. Now we'll leave that to dry. Okay, same drill with the other side. And we're going to get another one of those and hold it flat. Now use that to hold it square. Whoa, look at me mangling the whole building. Oops, Here, we're going to move it off the slope a little bit and set it up like so. Perfect. Now we have squareness. Now we're ready to take this out. Take off the clamps. And add the front. The final step for this evening will be to install the floor. We're going to install it obviously with the scribed floorboards up into the building. You can see here that there is one fewer notch cut on one side. That's the side with the door. The ends of the studs on the end walls should fit right up into those notches and hold everything where it ought to be. Installing the floor will also ensure that we're square and hold everything in position, give the building quite a bit more strength when it dries. And this is where we ended up this time around. You can see we've got a nice little shell here. We've got the studs all the way around the outside. It's starting to look like a nice little building. Next time we will finish up with the roof and some trim details around the edges and on the corners especially. Look forward to talking about it then.
Well, Seth, thank you so very much. We really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you next time.